Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Pixbuzz, where we talk about
nerd culture,
tech news,
and everything in between
with a little bit of a buzz. I am your host, who is Zane. Go ahead and find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTubes, all that good stuff. And
I'm Schematis. You can find me at the same SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, all that cool stuff.
Cool. Today we're actually going to be drinking something that we just found. It's brand new that we just saw. It's a Noble Oak Bourbon. It's supposed to have some unique tasting notes. It's elegant, balanced, and bold. No dried fruit, cherry, vanilla, and spices.
Ooh.
So, cheers to that.
As soon as you said spices, sorry, I was way ahead of you.
Yeah, you already beat me to it. Oh, a little sweet.
Look at that.
There goes the vanilla.
It's nice, right?
It's not bad. It's
Oh,
not
man.
bad. We're gonna put this away.
Let's get into this one.
Yeah, this one's gonna be an interesting one. You just finished beating a game.
Yes.
What game was that?
Last of Us 2.
Ooh.
Let's talk about this.
Spoilers. I mean, not spoilers. Warning.
Warning.
We're gonna talk about Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2.
Everything.
If you have not played the game yet, please stop watching.
Yeah.
Go play the game, and then click on this
Obviously.
YouTube video.
We're going to spoil everything. Everything is going to get
everything.
revealed. Okay. Now, with that being said, why did this game get such controversial reviews, in your opinion? Let's start with that.
Many reasons, I think.
Okay.
One was storytelling. I think another one was people were upset about the genders and the rights that people were portraying in the game.
I did see that. Like
And-
SJW kind of the attack on, hey,
Yeah,
I don't want to get
which
influenced. Interesting. I
is-
saw that a lot on Twitter, unfortunately.
And then the other thing is the deaths,
Okay. Oh, certain people.
which has to go with, of course, the storytelling, which is involved in the storytelling. But, all right, so you just beat it.
Yeah.
What did you think?
After coming off of the heels of part 1, it's interesting, right? Because I had this moment of like, I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate it. And then I got to the end. I'm like, maybe this is not that bad. And so I think, honestly, it was a love-hate relationship. I felt a little bit alienated from part 1. I felt like they were doing something a little bit too much. But then after the story was over, I'm like, okay, maybe this was actually really good. But maybe the delivery was a little bit ill-timed in certain aspects. Maybe the pacing wasn't to my liking. But, yeah.
They did have a lot of delays. The game came out, the second part came out way later than the first part.
True.
So there were some, I'm pretty sure, technical difficulties that they wanted. They were doing the whole body capture,
That's right.
animations and stuff, and they had to wait for specific technology to get improved in order to do it. But that does not excuse the story.
No, it does not. We're gonna get right into this.
How did you feel about the story?
All right, look. Let's start with the number one elephant in the room. Joel's death. Right? Like, you go through part 1, playing.
If you've gone past the first few minutes of this, and you're still listening, and you do not know that Joel died,
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, Joel
But
dies.
Joel dies.
In like the first hour of gameplay. Right? So
Right. So
honestly, like, okay, so it took me a long time to cope with that happening. It was so ridiculous. I know it sounds silly, but I'm like maybe 8 hours into gameplay, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, why did they do this? Like, yeah.
Well, the reason you're also thinking about it is because it's not just a normal death. It is a prolonged death.
Prolonged death.
And they kind of lure you in because you're playing the build up into the scene. Right? And then when you get there, you're like, oh, they're going to help him. They needed help.
Right.
He just saved her life because of the snowstorm.
That's right. And then that's it.
And then it throws it in your face.
I'm like, really? This is what you're doing to me? Like,
Yeah.
And it was almost like a slap in the face. Like, I spent so much time in part 1 loving this character, loving what he did, even though he wasn't a good guy.
I was going to say, did you actually love him, though? And I think that's where we kind of get brought back into. This is the debate, right?
Okay.
Is he a lovable character?
Yes.
Or did you grow to love him because of the decision that he made to save a single life?
You know what? Don't do this to me, Zane. Because like I know where you're getting at, and you're right.
It's the heavy hitting questions that we need answers to.
The truth of the matter is, he was never a good guy. Like he just wasn't. Right? We knew that in part 1 he was a survivor, and it was apocalyptic time. His mindset was, I'm gonna do what I have to do to survive, and we always had hints of that, right? Him and his brother would do like shady things to, make ends meet, and so now we see him as kind of the softer guy in part 2. And I noticed that actually right away. Now you mentioned that in part 2, when it even opened up, he just seemed different. His voice actor let up on the emotions a lot more.
A bit more tender. The voice was not as dry.
Right.
It was tender, sweet.
Yeah.
But at the end of the first part, when you find out what he did
You're right.
to save her life.
Yeah.
Ellie's life.
Okay. I'm listening.
Just because he wanted to save her life does not mean that he was a good person. So, and I think that's where
that's deep.
That's where we kind of we leave off the game where you're like, you know what? He turned a leaf.
Yeah.
Because he saved Ellie's life.
Right.
Yeah, but in return, so many more people are
getting killed or turning into like
exactly
infected or whatever the case.
Infected. And you see that in the second part. Yes. And I think that's when. That's when you start seeing how conflicted this situation is, right?
Maybe that's
and
why. Yeah.
Why the people who killed him because they themselves don't understand why he did what he did.
They have no idea.
And I don't think they even ever find out, right? Because they don't.
They never found out.
No.
They never. So basically, Joel had his daughter taken from him in the first game early on.
He didn't have her taken. She died.
Listen, you know what I'm trying to say.
Like, she wasn't taken by anyone.
She died. And I think Ellie was that gem.
Yes.
That like, hey, there's another way. You don't have to be this hardened.
Yeah.
And she definitely did soften him up quite a bit. And like, I think that was him finding his humanity. And I think he found his humanity, but he couldn't just live a peaceful life after all the karma that he's been, building up over the years of him surviving. He did whatever he had to do. And so now it's like, okay, Abby was justified. I think she was justified.
Yeah. Especially when you go ahead.
I don't know what to say, man. I'm just mad about that. I'm mad that it was like it was almost like he deserved it. And you know what's interesting? Like we mentioned his voice acting. I'm such an audio person. I was in tune with that. Like he just sounded different. I'm like, why does Joel sound like this? This is not Joel. And I kept telling myself that this is not Joel that I knew in part 1. But then when she caught him and he was like, shot in the leg, and she was like, who am I, blah, blah. He said this one line, and he sounded like the old Joel. I can't remember what he said verbatim. But he was like, listen, whatever speech you have, just say and get this over with.
Yeah.
He went right back to his old thinking. He's like, I know I deserved this, or whatever the case may be. He was so okay with it.
Yeah.
But
even when Ellie walked into the scene, he knew what was going to happen. He was just like, just stop, let it happen. Kind of like,
this is my fate.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
This is me.
Completely true. Even again, this game and Naughty Dog is so amazing with their production of games.
Beautiful work, Naughty Dog. Honestly,
keep it.
I've been with you since Crash Bandicoot. This is,
By the way, there's a good little Crash Bandicoot video, Naughty Dog video where they actually hacked the original PlayStation.
Wow. In
order to achieve some of the motions of Crash himself. Wow. Like they were pushing more RAM in the console that was available. Nice. Anyway.
Oh, cool.
YouTube it. Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation.
Nice.
PlayStation on PlayStation 1, which is a different thing.
Right. We know
we're old.
We're old. We're super old.
But back to The Last of Us, number 2.
Yes.
It was very... How did you feel when you found out why the Firefly, the remaining people of Firefly were trying to look for Joel? Like, when you found out that the only doctor that could save everyone from this infectious disease
was killed
by...
How did I feel?
Joel.
You know what? There was a conflicting emotion. It's like, okay.
This sort of conflict.
But I kind of feel like I get it. I understood why he did it. But it wasn't the right thing. And honestly, it wasn't the right thing. But to whose perspective?
Right.
Nah, that's the hard part, right?
Yeah, that's the, like, even Ellie was not happy. As soon as she found out,
right, she was upset
because she could have saved, and she wanted to give her life.
She did.
Her request was to give her life so that all these other people could live.
So my life could have meaning. This would be good, and she was okay with that. But he wasn't. He's like, no. You need to be alive. So it was like almost like a selfish thing in a sense.
Well, there we go.
Oh, come on.
There comes the root of the thing, right?
All right,
so
all right.
he ended up saving her life.
He did.
But for who? For her or for himself?
Oh, man, Zane.
And so when they kill him, I'm like, you know what? I don't fucking care.
Right.
I don't care. I mean, not that I don't care. I was attached to him. He apparently was very defensive towards Ellie.
Yeah.
Even though she was having some conflicts. You see it in the bar.
Of course.
Where she gets derogatory.
He was like the dad.
Yeah.
He pops up like the dad. The superhero.
Defensive. But she had found out by then that he had saved her from getting killed.
Correct.
So she was upset at him.
Yes.
If they were in different situations, I'm pretty sure she would appreciate it. Yeah. But as a rebel, I don't know, late teens maybe.
Yeah.
She was kind of still in her rebel stage.
Of course.
So I get the situation. She leaves. She finds out that he dies. She goes on this revenge path.
That is what the game is about. Straight up revenge.
And then it leads us right into the revenge. But while Ellie is finding her revenge, or in the quest to find her revenge, we're also seeing the other side.
Correct. Abby. All right.
Abby's side.
Brand new character, came out of nowhere, but
described as the bull.
And now the question is like, do you like this character? And I'm gonna tell you something. I just didn't. It took me a long time. So I hated her for like the first 6-7 hours of her gameplay. I'm like, why am I playing with this character?
And she was also so weak.
Wait, Abby?
In the beginning, yes.
Oh, you mean like in terms of what?
Because you start. You go back to her.
Yeah.
Okay. So to put things in perspective, I beat this 2 days after the game released.
Oh wow,
I downloaded it. I beat it. I did not sleep. I went to work and I was like obsessed with this game.
Oh my god!
I got a lot of trophies. I probably collected all the cards.
You're crazy.
Because you can collect cards and stuff. Cal decided to get the CD or the CD version.
The physical
of the game.
copy, like way later, like months later. So
I think you just got it about a month ago or something.
Listen, let's not talk about that. It's fine.
Digital media, people. Digital media.
Here we go.
But so he just beat it, so the game is fresh.
Correct. So it's like, so basically what I was getting at is like Abby, second character you play with in the game, right? And now it's like, she killed Joel. Why do I want to play with the character who killed one of my favorite protagonists? Or in my opinion, was a protagonist. And I remember like when Abby actually had, I don't know if you remember the boss fight with Ellie, which is kind of like the crazy, you remember that, right? This is when I knew something was wrong with me. The first one? Because I literally was rooting for Abby a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. So this is the thing that's bothering me. I'm like, why am I don't want any of them to die. But when Abby was smacking her up, I'm like, yeah, she kind of deserved that, didn't she? A little bit, like, you know.
Yes. But again, we're going back to which part? The first encounter or the second in the water?
No, the first one, not the one in the water yet. The first one when they were kind of like both like.
Got it.
In the theater. Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the first one. The second one, you want to get into that, don't you?
Yes, but it goes that route, right? Where I'm still rooting for Abby throughout the whole game.
Oh, wow.
It's just, it's not that I don't like Ellie.
No,
it's
correct.
Just her motivation is rooted by revenge.
Both of them was.
Yes, really? But once Abby got her revenge in a sense, she let it go.
She did.
She let it.
Well, scratch that. I'm gonna test you.
She let it go.
Go ahead.
And you could tell because Ellie killed all her friends.
She really did.
And even when she had the chance to kill Ellie, she didn't.
I see. And at that point, Abby did change, and I agree with that.
Abby had never changed though. Her purpose was always, I'm going to get revenge.
Right.
And I'm going to end it there.
Right.
No one else was supposed to get killed.
Correct.
No one needed to get hurt.
I agree with that.
And this is not only, the revenge was because it wasn't something that conflicted her, just directly her. It conflicted that whole group that enacted the revenge.
Right.
And the population of the the world.
I see.
So she had a little bit more backing behind her, whereas Ellie was just like, "You killed my father. I'm gonna go kill you."
So it's like a little bit more cliche, and
Yeah.
at least, and that's kind of why I was kind of rooting for Abby.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I noticed about this, I think you probably picked it up too, but like in this whole game,
Yeah.
Abby killing Joel in the beginning, it kind of seemed like she really just wanted it. She wanted it. But then you notice, like in the gameplay with Abby, that kind of caught me. She was having flashbacks.
Yeah.
She was having flashbacks of her killing Joel, and you could tell she wasn't okay with it.
No.
She was like, okay, I did what I thought I had to do. I thought this would make me happy. But at the end of the day, my father's not coming back. And whoever this man is who I just killed, whatever the case may be, yeah, I got him. But I'm still not happy.
Yep.
I'm still having nightmares. I can't sleep at night. And, you know, I think that's kind of crazy.
And she wanted to right her wrong, in a sense, when she found, I forgot his name.
I think it was Lev.
Lev?
The young kid with the bow and arrow. Yeah.
Well, he was also going through his own transformation.
Yes, correct.
So just understanding that she wanted to help him find himself.
I see.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And help, like, just completely ignoring her own life.
Right.
And I think that's why I rooted for her a little bit more. Just because start to see her side of things, Abby's side of things.
And you realize she's not a monster. She's not like completely like this random mercenary who has no purpose. No. Everything just kind of tied into each other. So when we get to that big fated second encounter, I want to talk about that one. Because this is a 50-50 for me as well.
Okay.
I'm happy for a couple of reasons, but I'm also sad for a couple of reasons.
Did you die any times at the end? That final shot.
You mean like during the fight sequence?
Final fight sequence, yeah.
I think I died once, actually. I think there's like a couple of times I did.
Did you purposely die, or did you die like accidentally?
I died like accidentally. Like I think she was like countering my knife or something. I'm like, what? How's this possible?
I walked around the beach.
You did?
Just letting her kill me.
Really?
Because I thought you could have maybe multiple endings. Maybe I was like, maybe this is one of those games where you can probably choose your ending. Didn't happen.
What you're saying is you didn't want to kill Abby.
I did not want to kill Abby.
You didn't want to fight her at all.
No.
You wanted Ellie to die.
Yes. Especially, and then when I saw Ellie put Abby down underwater, and Abby was just like, you know what?
I'm ready to go.
It?
Hi.
I'm like, no.
And you
stop. You still have to like.
Thank you, Naughty Dog. I appreciate you for giving us this kind of dynamic for the players where we just don't want to do things. And honestly, there were a couple of times in the game when that was happening. Like they're like mash X, max O, max, and I didn't want to do it. And I was just like, wait, do I really want to do this? And I kind of waited to see if the game would like do something else, but the game didn't move. It's like, no, you have to mash this button.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not moving. You're not going to progress. I'm like, this is a wrong move. But look, that fight sequence.
Oh, hello there. Sorry for the quick interruption. Just a reminder, make sure you like, subscribe. That way you don't miss a beat. We have a few more podcasts on our podcast playlist, and we have a few shorts as well. Just in case you haven't seen those, go ahead and click on that, take a look at them. But yeah, I'll let you get back to listening to the amazing podcast.
So this second fight sequence.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I told you, like, I was trying to not have her die underwater.
Right. And I mean, I get you. And I was actually kind of feeling that motion myself. Like, please don't kill her. You know, I didn't want her to die at that point. I realized like she's going to die. I'm like, no, don't kill this character. Like,
especially with those whistle blowing, archers. Archers.
Yeah, that was nice.
The ones that could whistle, like,
they were kind of signaling to this location.
And you're like, wait, my dad used to do that, but I didn't know it was going to be in the game.
I loved it.
My dad used anyway. We'll get to that later. But yeah, so we had gone through so much pain of hers.
Yes,
she had already gone. Like her friends died.
Yeah,
some of her family some of her friends within the camp were also dying.
Correct.
And then she finds this kid who's trying to help her out. She decides to go back to help him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, his sister.
That was a wrongful death. I mean, I get it, but that was wrong, you know.
Was it with the hammer? Was it with the hammer?
No, she ended up getting like ambushed by Abby's people, and
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
I know the mom was very She was obsessed with the religion,
Correct.
which is a cult, which is something that they touch on as well,
Yeah.
like cults and religion and what that might
I love
reflect on
this.
in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So once you go through all that,
Yeah.
and you're invested in Abby,
You were so invested.
you're like,
And it happened almost by, you say invested. I was hoping it didn't happen. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna like this character. But then it started happening on its own. Like, wait, she's got a whole system here.
yep.
She didn't just pop out of nowhere.
When you spend so much time in the aquarium,
yeah,
the aquarium becomes such a sentimental part, and when you go back in and find the pregnant doctor,
Mel and Owen, they were dead from Ellie. You're wondering, was Ellie right doing this?
well, okay, so this
right.
is another. This is
Let's talk about
again
this.
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog. How dare you, right? Naughty Dog. Yo, I love them though. Shout outs.
Did Ellie know she was pregnant?
Ellie did not know she was pregnant.
No, until later. Once, Owen.
Owen let her know, like, hey.
Yeah, like, well, he didn't let her know.
He was dying.
He was like bleeding out.
Yeah.
And
She went to check and boom.
she's
She's like flipping out.
pregnant.
Now she's flipping out.
pregnant.
She knows she just literally killed a
Yeah.
pregnant woman, and so
which
now
was never in her scope.
she never thought about it.
Yeah. So
that that kind of shows that, what I think, honestly, that I think about it, I think you were honestly playing with the depressed Ellie for the first 10 hours of the game.
yes.
I think you were playing with the literal depressed Ellie,
Yeah.
and you could tell that she just wasn't in her right mind.
No, you could tell her as well by. And sorry to cut you off.
Cut me
but
off.
she was playing with her son, right?
Yeah.
On the second part,
But,
because she in part 2, after she gets back,
mm-hmm.
she's mad that.
Oh, you mean when they were in the farmhouse?
Yeah. when
Yeah.
they got the farmhouse.
Yeah. Okay, so you're
She's
saying.
playing with her son, and she's still like itching,
Yeah, like
Well,
something.
but do you think at that point she was sorry? So was it before that you were mentioning?
No, that's actually a good point. Let's stay on that topic. When they went in the farmhouse, literally the game could have ended there. That could have been a happy ending.
Yes.
Dina in this farmhouse that she always wanted, right, with Ellie, and then their son.
Yeah.
They're in a good relationship. They have the whole thing that they need, but then Ellie couldn't rest. She needed she never found time to actually deal with Joel's death in a healthy way. She felt like just killing was the way.
And then Joel's brother also. I hated how it was his push
Yeah.
that made everything kind of go downhill.
That's
like if
another
it wasn't
thing,
for
yeah.
him coming and telling Ellie like, how could you be there and not like care about Joel's death?
Right.
I'm gonna go find him.
He couldn't do it.
And then she's
was
like,
done.
okay, well, if he's gonna go, then I need to go help.
Nah, he wasn't gonna do it. He was completely incapacitated. Abby messed him up. Yeah, he was done. He couldn't do it. But
No.
I get what you're saying, right? If he never showed up, would Ellie have gone? And I don't know. We don't know. Probably.
But I don't think so, because I think Ellie at that point was like, you know what? I'm happy. As soon as I saw her play the record,
Yeah.
and kind of like get into the mood, she went into the outside, picked up her son, and like showed him the truck, the trailer, and then went back in. As soon as she went back in, that's when she saw her the uncle,
Joel's brother?
Joel's
Tommy,
brother.
yeah. Oh, so I see what you're saying. And honestly, this is actually a really good topic, right? Because I don't know if she would have ever been okay with just being content. Because she was having nightmares and flashbacks, and I think she was having these panic attacks almost with seeing Joel. And like, I'm thinking about this, I'm like, wait, Ellie never had panic attacks about Joel ever before.
No, not at all.
And now that she's trying to be happy and living this comfortable life, now it's happening. She was basically filling in the blanks with just death, and you could see her becoming more and more of a savage as the game progressed, just being more brutal along the way, masking her sadness with just murder. And now I'm thinking, is Ellie the good guy? Like now basically I go back and look at this. Naughty Dog, you did this very well.
Yeah.
Who is the good guy? Who's the protagonist? Who's the antagonist? And literally I don't think there's any
Naughty
good guy
Dog
here.
loves playing with that, right?
100%.
Even in Crash Bandicoot. Nah, I'm kidding.
Even in Crash Bandicoot, I hated Crash.
No, the Uncharted does well as Uncharted does a good way of like kind of portraying that story as well.
Right.
But in this case, we're just talking about The Last of Us,
Right.
and they do such a good job with kind of hooking you into the storyline and kind of making you choose. Not necessarily, but this is where I was so upset that they could not let you choose Ellie
or
to
Abby?
die
Oh, really?
at the end.
You wanted Ellie to die at the end?
Yes.
Oh wow!
We mentioned this, right? So where Abby was, where you're playing as Ellie and you're trying to kill Abby in the water in the beach,
Right.
which is also, by the way, the opening scene.
Yeah.
Opening time screen. It's like
the boat
because
kinda
I think that's where they purposely want you to be conflicted there,
and they did it. It ended. You know, there's got to be a part 3 because if they're not,
Yes.
I'd be very upset.
But what would you want to see in part 3? Because part 2 ends where Ellie goes back to the house. There's nothing because she doesn't deserve that to go back to.
She doesn't deserve it.
Abby still has someone though.
Yes. To be honest, part 3, I do want to see Abby's continuation with Lev, and I also would want to see like kind of like a hybrid of like what was Joel's life back before he met Ellie. I kind of want to see them explore that, like with him and his brother being like really ripe into the apocalypse of the first, movers of the infected. Like, how was their life at that time? I want them to examine that aspect. Cause
I think we play a little bit of that in the first part, right?
Kind of, but not really. Like they make references mostly.
Yeah.
So it's mostly like Joel and Ellie. But when Joel is with Ellie, Joel mentions these little stories that he does with Tommy, and I think that there's a whole fleshed out scene that could be done with that. Like, basically, what was Joel and Tommy's life back before Ellie was there? Back, when the first infected became a thing, how did they make it? And then I wanted to kind of jump between that and jump between Abby and Lev's,
a correlation between them, maybe in how Abby is bringing up Lev.
100%.
Got it.
I think that would be completely insane if they pull that off. They can make up for this detriment of part 2 because I'm so like love-hate with this game right now.
Ellie and Abby raise Lev.
Oh God! All right. With that being said, you guys
let us know in the comments down below.
What do you want to see? Do you want to see Last of Us 3? Did you like Last of Us 2?
Yeah, Last of Us 1.
Last of Us 1.
Any of you even played Last of Us 1? If you haven't, you can go also download it in PlayStation 3 at the moment. We are at 3, right? No, 4.
4 now.
PlayStation 4.
You're drunk.
The
it's fine.
remastered version of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and download that.
I agree.
And yeah, let us know what you guys think about the gameplay that you guys went through. If you haven't played it, please go ahead.
I'd
and
recommend
play
it. Yeah.
1 and 2, of course.
2.
And yeah, we'll end this here and we'll continue next time.
Ciao.
Later.